You're listening to SM Media, the number one place for exclusive Scottish football content.
You have the heart of a giant, show it. You got the pride of a lion, roaring. Maybe you need big love, you don't need to give up. 'Cause something real is waiting there for you. You've been flying solo, now it's time to let go.
Hi folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media Scottish Women's Football Show. I'm Scott McPike. It's an absolute pleasure to be your host as always. We are now at the stage of the end of the season. We're celebrating League Winners being awarded. The hard-working teams that have won the title, they're all getting crowned around about this time of the year. And we thought in this week's episode we would talk to one of the most impressive teams of the season this year. It's a pleasure to welcome on the champions of the SWPL 2 League, Montrose. First of all, it's a pleasure to welcome their manager, Craig Feroz. Craig, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Great to be on, Scott. I watch it all the time, so nice to get on finally.
I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to welcome one of the best players in the league this season, up for Player of the Season. It's a pleasure to welcome on Charlotte Gammie. Charlotte, welcome on. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much for having me.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. I'm really excited to have you both on the show. Obviously, it's always good to talk to representatives of League One and team. Craig, you've got over the line, obviously sitting 15 points clear after 26 games, 2 games left to go. Double promotion. We were speaking before we came on here. 7 years this club's been in existence, and now he's going to be playing in the top flight this season. The journey is one of the most remarkable in football at the moment, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy. There's been a few moments of this season when, well, especially one when we lost to Gartcairn and then we got beat for Stirling in the cup. We had to change things around a wee bit, but you know it's been fantastic, and for the club to be in the Premier, it's pretty scary, Scott, to be honest.
And it's that kind of thing as well, obviously, but like coming from that journey of kind of double promotion, like last season, yourselves and Gartcairn obviously coming into the league. What was that kind of like the start of the season? I know when we kind of spoke, we were kind of looking at the start of the season, you were mentioned big as promotion challengers, but to go on that journey from coming up to the league and you obviously coming into the SWPL 2, which was a really good standard as we'll get into later on, but what was the kind of expectations at the start of the season? Was promotion on your minds, or is this oversaw everything?
For me, I think, you know, you go into a league to win it. If anybody's got to believe in it, it's got to be me, because I need to pass it on to the players. If I don't believe, you know, they're not going to believe. So I did believe we could do it. I didn't think it was going to be easy, and it's proved that it's been a really good league. You've said that a few times yourself. But realistically, the board, etc., was just wanting us to consolidate in the league. But I was given. I've been there. I've only done 2 seasons, so I've won a title both seasons, and I was given 5 years to challenge for the championship. So we've done okay, but I thought we could do it. You know, I was taking in good players, experienced players, and well, listen, we have done it. I don't know if the players believed that, Charlotte, at the start. She'll maybe tell you better than me, because they kind of keep some stuff from the Scott, you know what I mean? Yeah,
it's and kind of from a player's perspective, Charlotte, what is it like? Obviously, getting promoted last season. There's myths in kind of football in particular. Like if the promotion, the teams that get promoted are usually favourites to go down. I don't necessarily think that apply. It obviously doesn't apply here, but how do you kind of, as players, kind of look at that and kind of going into the season ahead? Because a lot of people were talking about you for promotion, but as a player, how did that kind of resonate with you?
Yeah, I think I always kind of thought it was going to be a big jump. I know obviously going up is going to be a bigger jump, but I did think there was going to be a big jump. I don't know if I actually at the start of the season believed that we could do it. I believed that we could definitely take it to a lot of the teams in the league, but I just didn't know if we'd get to the top. When we actually started the season and Craig brought in all these players and we gelled so quick, I think that's when I started to believe, because when you're bringing in new players, you're just not sure what the dynamic will be. But when the players all came in and got together and we actually felt like a proper team so quick, I think that's when I started to believe it.
Craig, what's it like as well? Obviously, like attracting players in the league. Like, obviously, there's a lot of competition to try and get the kind of right player, and a lot of teams can have similar budgets in that regard. Like, what was it kind of like bringing in players? I know you brought in a lot. Like, how was it attracting those players to the club?
But when I first started the championship, it was difficult, because we didn't have a reputation, we didn't have an ethos, nobody really knew anything about Montrose. But that was the first thing I wanted to install. I wanted to make sure that players, not just my players, but because players talk to other players, that's probably the best way to get players. That they knew that they get looked after at Montrose, and they knew that the club was ambitious. And I think in the women's game, Scott, that's the most important tool you've got, to look after your players and to make them feel special and make them feel like, part of football. Because certainly when I started, there wasn't that, and we had to change that pretty quickly. And I think Charlotte will tell you, you get well looked after, and you're an important part of the club. So, the first season was difficult to get the kind of standard, and I got knocked back for loads of players, and it was hard to take at times, where we were at the bottom of the kind of championship. But I had to kind of gradually get back up there, and now we're going to sit at the top table. So hopefully the girls around the area will know that we look after our players and we do our best to make sure that they're felt special. And hopefully now we can attract another type of players, because I go back to last season, Kilmarnock came Lynx Park and beat us in the Scottish Cup 2-0 quite comfortably. And I knew after that game, if we got promoted, we'd need to change. And we need to change massively, and we have, and I know we'll need to change again when we go up to even try and compete at that level. So it's about making it a good club, Scott, and getting that reputation up there.
Charlotte, obviously, Craig's saying there about the club attract, like, kind of moving forward and things like that. Like, the club's been there only for kind of 7 years, but it's been a journey to get the club into the position it's in. How have you kind of seen it? Obviously, being kind of local, been there a few years. What's it been like for yourself to see the journey the club's taken?
Yeah, I think it's been huge for the town as well as the club. I think, obviously, I actually started off at Montrose. I started my Scottish career off at Montrose. And the difference from then till now is huge. I think having the support of the board was a huge boost for the club. I think there is obviously clubs out there that still don't have that affiliation. And I think, if anything, that has really boosted this club. It's, like Craig's saying before, like, the way we are treated. I know that there's so many clubs out there even higher than us, or well, we're obviously up there now, but there was at one point higher clubs than us that weren't getting near as much as we're getting from the club, and the support we get from the club is huge. So no, it's been great, and I think now everybody's talking about it in Montrose. Like, Montrose is just this little town, but it's actually now it's putting us on the map. So it's something I'm proud of, just being from there myself. So.
Craig, like the Charlotte was saying there about the kind of relationship with the men's team and things like that. You've seen the kind of men's team make strides as well in the past few years, and there's obviously a big affiliation with both sides. How important's that been to the progression as well?
It's the way it has to be, Scott. Listen, every team we play, we're enemies on the Sunday, but I just want the best for women's football, and I know there's clubs out there that. They do fly the flag, but they don't actually fulfil the background stuff. And I just want the best for women's football. And I told, when I got to Montrose, I says, listen, this is the way it's got to be. We've got to actually substantiate what we're saying, because there's no point saying something and not doing it, because the players will know, people will start to talk, and it's massive. The girls should be treated exactly the same. Listen, I played for a long time, and there was no real women's football back then. And I've said to Charlotte and the girls many a times, I didn't know nothing about women's football 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and now I'm a massive advocate for it. And if women's football can turn me around, I'm totally engaged in it now, and totally, I want it to do as high as it can go. And it's great seeing Fiona come in and make big differences in the higher echelons of the game. And I'm just really proud that my club are sitting up there now at the top, and we can actually say that our team does, our men's side do support us, and it's 100% true. And you ask any player in the women's football, and that's what they want. They want to be part of that, and it's great to see it coming on, and especially for my club, it's good to see.
And Charlotte, like, as well, like, obviously the progression in the game over the past few years, the kind of way the Scottish Cups move forward, the national team getting the recognition it does, it must be great to see how well it's moving forward. And obviously Sky Sports being involved as well, it might be a perfect chance to be in the Sky cameras next season.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to be, but nah, I'm joking. No, I think it's absolutely great for the women's leagues and things like that. And I think we have ball girls every week, and I mean, they're asking for your autograph and little things like that. It's like they're looking up to us now. Really we're an idol to them because that's exactly where they want to be, and we're allowing that platform for them now. The fact that we've gone up to that top league, we're allowing them to reach that potential or reach that top kind of league. So I think it's huge, especially for the younger generation as well as ourselves that are in that leagues as well. But I just think it's huge for women's football, and I think I'm glad it's happened now. It maybe should have happened quite a few years ago, but I just think it's huge how much money is going in with Sky, and everybody's getting to see that like how good women's football actually is.
Yeah, 100%. Let's start the season as a whole, Craig. We'll start with the start. It wasn't the most enthusiastic starts, was it? 2 draws to start the first 2 games at home to Kilmarnock and Stirling Uni, the one against East Fife, and then a 3-2 defeat away to Gartcairn at the end of August. I mean, at the start when you were looking at the way the season was going to go, did you envision that 5 points after 4 games?
I think we beat Stirling, the second one. Maybe you got your scores wrong. I think we won the second one. So I think we drew with Kilmarnock, we beat East Fife, we beat Stirling.
Right.
But then we beat Gartcairn. And then we lost to Stirling in the cup straight after that.
Okay.
So at that point, 100% no. I knew I had to make changes. Maybe bring some more personnel in, change maybe the formation. And at that point, yeah, you know, the thing about the league was though, I know Gartcairn kind of took off a wee bit. I think we clawed it back twice. We got deducted the 3 points as well, which was I don't know if maybe it was a heaven sent kind of thing because it really.
I was going to ask that obviously because that was a big thing as well. Obviously the situation it went on for a few weeks as well, didn't it? It wasn't a case of just like there was that. Did that kind of kick you on and like what was? Because
I actually think looking back now, I think that because it's certainly spurred me on, you know, and it gave us a bit between our teeth, you know, like we'd been kind of felt a little bit unlucky about it, and it did spur us on. I think after that, you know, I think we had some good results. The big one for me, you know, like I said, Kilmarnock came to Lynx Park and schooled us in the Scottish Cup the year before, and for me personally, I wanted to go and match them. And the likes of St Johnstone, we played them in a friendly a few times, and the games had been really tight. But when we started to beat the bigger teams, you know, the teams that had been there for longer, then I really started to believe we could do it. But I think we fell behind 5 points to Gartcairn twice.
Yeah.
One was because of the points deduction, and they were doing so well. They were on a great run. They beat us down there, but we had so many chances to still get something out of that game. And just after we started to start beating the bigger teams, then I started to think, nah, we can definitely do this. And once we'd played everybody once, I actually thought then we were going to win the league.
And Charlotte, that kind of bottom your game's interesting because obviously it was around kind of the signing of London Pollard, who's a really exciting talent. We saw last year at Motherwell just how good she was, but how good an influence has she kind of been in like a young talent like that coming in? How much of an impact does she have on the dressing room?
Yeah, I think, like I was saying earlier, if you actually look at our squad, we do have quite a lot of young players.
Mm-hmm.
London, her ability is just huge. Obviously, like it's not only her ability; she's quick, and not any defender I think could ever stop her or actually even keep up with her. I try at times, but but no, like even the likes of Holly and things like that. It's just so good to see this young talent come up. And this is a league they want to play in. This is a league they have to play in with the ability that they've got. So I think London, I actually played with London at Forfar, and the difference between her and now, even just her confidence, I think she's come out of her shell a lot at Montrose, and I think all credit to Craig, all the players he's brought in, they've gelled so well, and I think that's helped the quieter kind of girls that are around the club. Just because we all get along, so it's great.
There's a lot of young talent in the side, obviously London and Holly, kind of the two big ones at the moment. But there's a lot of exciting players coming through. How well has it been to get them in and get them gelled with the dressing room?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, we've all been there at that stage, and I think I mean, that was a long time ago for me now, but we want to actually show them exactly or help them reach that potential that they're wanting to get to. I mean, they've both played for Scotland. I think they both still are, and it's huge for the club as well. I just think they're playing around people that have got experience and things like that, and they're going to learn, and we'll probably learn things from them as well. So we're probably all taught a lot different when we were growing up, but they're learning from us. You can see that week in, week out. It's great.
Craig, do you kind of share your thoughts on that as well?
I think if you go back, you know, you need a little bit of luck as a manager to win a league, and I think the circumstances were not just London, but the circumstances with Louise Brown, you know, at the time with Aberdeen, and luckily for me, I had history with London, you know, back, and I coached her years ago, and Louise Brown as well. I knew her quite well, so I managed to sway them to come to the club, and I think as a stature sign in London was big. You know, I remember people talking about it at the time because of where she came from. London's got so much potential. She's got a lot to learn, and she will. But you know, these moments are the moments that win you leagues. You know, and she scored a few important goals for us. And the thing about London is, even if she's not playing well, she'll occupy two defenders. You know, and that's what people don't see. Sometimes they see, oh, she's not scoring goals, or you know, she's not beating everybody and getting chances. But she's a fear for the defences, and then we can occupy another side of the pitch because you know we've got an overload at the other side. So listen, I got lucky with a few players just because of our histories, and it's 100% helped us.
Charlotte, before Christmas, obviously the big result was the 2-0 home win over Gartcairn. Like, how big was that going into the winter break with a big result of that against your title challengers?
Oh, huge! I think, like Craig was saying earlier, is we were these 5 points at the start of the season obviously didn't help us. So there's a lot of pressure to do well. We actually play really well at home. So I think after that and going into the break, I think we knew we couldn't take the foot off the gas. But it was huge. I think then that is when maybe a lot of players started thinking we can actually do this, because I think at that point we'd beat every team in the league. So that was huge for us, especially going into a break. I mean, sometimes the break's not good. You just want to continue, but I think that gave us the kind of boost that we needed to then come back and start off again for the second half of the season. So I do think it was a huge plus for us at that time of the season.
And then, Craig, the coming back from the break, the 12-0 win over Bonnyrigg in the Cup, defeat away to Boroughmuir, but then to bounce back from that defeat at Boroughmuir by 7-1 home win over St Johnstone and a 5-2 win over Queen's Park. How big was that kind of comeback? Because that Boroughmuir kind of result must have been disappointing, but to come back and have two really good results, that must have been a really good look for you.
I think, like you're talking about the Gartcairn game, for me that was pivotal because I think it was maybe Gartcairn's maybe first defeat. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, it could have been, yeah. You
know, as a manager, when you're sitting at the top and you lose your game, it takes a lot of metal to keep everybody settled, and that a little bit of, you know, the confidence loses you a wee bit, and I think that was important for us. And then obviously the Boroughmuir game was disappointing, but again, if we go back to the game, the chances we had, you know, to kill the game off, and that's when I really think we started our role. I think after we beat St Johnstone 7-1, I can't remember. I think it's maybe since then we've not been beat. I think we went 14 unbeaten now. So that once we beat St Johnstone 7-1, and once we started to go into a role, I knew we were going to do it, because we've once we got on top of the league, I didn't think we were going to lose it from then. But there's been so many pivotal games. The 1-0 against Kilmarnock down there, all the games against Kilmarnock's been tough. That was a big one for us, for belief for the players. You know, that was a big one to go and win away, because like Charlotte said, we're really good at home, but we didn't get the big ones away. And then we started to pick them up, and then after that, I don't think we've ever looked back.
And then, Charlotte, the Gartcairn game on the 12th of March, I think is probably the kind of big result of the season for you. It kind of gives you that big gap. London scores a hat-trick as well. That to win that game, to go away from home when you're, you know, if you win this, it's going to give you a bit of a cushion. That must be good for you as well.
Yeah, I think, do you know what? On that day, it was completely different. It was like we came off the bus and like we were actually singing the highest I think we've ever sang, but it was like we believed it. Like we'd literally got off the bus, like in the changing room and even on the pitch. It's the first time, like, I mean, I don't like a huddle, but it was actually the first time we actually had a huddle in the park. We all cheer each other on. We're such a good team, but it's like we knew we needed to get that. And to be honest, I think that was one of our best games that we've played. And it's never easy traveling all that way because we've got girls traveling from Aberdeen. It's not just your Montrose area or your Dundee area, so it's a long journey for them. To sit on a bus and then obviously go and play 90 minutes. So it's huge for us, especially because there was pressure on for us. But I think we worked really well under pressure. So,
and Craig as well, a kind of interesting thing, like a lot of kind of some of your games as well, there's obviously like 7-1s, kind of 4-1s. There's been a lot of kind of games with high scores, but the 3-2 win away to Queen's Park obviously been reduced to 10 with the red card. To kind of hold that off, that must have been a massive thing as well, like because you want to win a game, obviously, but how many goals you can, but getting out a win like that must be brilliant as well. I
know how Charlotte's laughing. She's thinking about the halftime talk down there. No, that, and it's funny because I think it was last week. We always kind of looked at the Gap Cairn away and the Kilmarnock away games. When I spoke last week, that Queen's Park game was huge for me. I think that's what sealed it for us. Mm-hmm. You know, especially if you're an opponent, you know, you're looking at us. We're down 1-0 at half time. We came back up after a few choice words at half time. We were up 3-1. And then Amy Cully gets sent off and it's backs to the walls. But see that day, that second half, that won us the league, 100%. And the confidence from then, you know, listen, 14 undefeated. That's pretty decent. But that, you're right, and I'm glad you picked that one out because that stands in my mind as probably the most important game of the season.
And then after that, like winning that kind of game, it's Charlotte. Is there a wee kind of level kind of coming into the head at that point when in the dressing room? All right, we are going to win this. It's just a matter of when. But complacency is obviously an interesting thing. But does that enter your mind at that point?
I think the Queen's Park game, especially going down to the 10 men, it's always going to be tough. But I think with the belief that we've got and the confidence in our teammates and just how well we gel together, I think when it got to that situation and we knew we needed that, just going by what the league situation was, we needed them extra 3 points just to take us up there. But I think, obviously, like Craig had his team talk that day, and he said, actually, at that point, this is the game that will win you the league. So I think to go out, I mean, the first half, I would say, was probably one of our poorer ones. But the second half, we actually all came together. Yes, we went down to 10 men, but I think we actually all came together. It didn't feel like it. So the second half performance and getting them 3 points was huge. And like Craig said, I do think that was the one pivotal game that actually took us to that belief that we were going to do it.
Craig, when you're after that Queen's Park game, do you have to kind of keep the team grounded? Do you have, because all in all, kind of apart from a miracle, it's going to be very difficult to not win the league at that point. But do you have to kind of install that kind of realism that it's not done until it's done?
Charlotte will tell you I'm miserable. You know, in fact, a few of the managers in the league will tell you I'm miserable as well. But having been, you know, played football at a decent level, you can't let them think it's over. Even Charlotte will tell you right now. On, what was it, Sunday? You know, we were 1-0 down at half time, I think. And Charlotte will tell you I'm the same from day one to now. I need to win every game. You know, that's just my mentality. And that comes across to them. I've never heard them mention once that we've won the league. Not once. Mm-hmm. And I've still not let them party yet either. So it'll be worth it. We've got, obviously, Sunday. But no, you can't let them do that because, listen, in as much as me and other teams and other managers, you know, again on a Sunday we're enemies, but I've got none but respect for them all. You know, I know it's you're not just fighting other teams in women's football. You're fighting for equality. You know, and I appreciate everything that they do for their teams. Obviously not on the day, because I care about my team the most. But I really, it's been a great league. You know, it's been a great standard. It's been fantastic. I think it's probably the most exciting one we've had in years. Yes, we've run away with it in the end, but now you've got this, you know, playoff fight as well. It's went up and down. teams have taken points off each other, and I just think if you look at our stats, our goals for, goals against, I think we've got the least goals against, equal with Kilmarnock, and the goals for is miles away from everybody else. So I think we've deserved it, but nothing but credit to the rest of the teams in the league, because every game is a tough game.
Yeah, and I was going to pick up obviously in the way that the kind of goals, the high amount of goals you've scored, Charlotte. Obviously, winning the kind of sealing the league away at East Fife last Sunday, six goals, 6-1 away win. But you started the party, you scored the first goal, but all six different goal scorers as well. That must, when you see that kind of spread of goal scorers as well, there's a lot of people willing to put in.
Yeah, we are such an attacking-minded team. I think it's plain kind of clear for that. You can kind of see with the 50 plus. So it's great because we've not got that player that wants to just only be the one player that wants to score. And I think everybody wants to get on the score sheet, but I think most of our team this season have actually been on the score sheet.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of shows the variety that we've actually got in our club. It's massive. I think, as I want to say, most defenders have even scored. So no, it's great, and I think it's one of them as well. It gives you more confidence. You get a goal, the team get confidence, and the player gets more confident throughout the season. So no, I think it's been a big thing for us this season, especially the goals.
Craig, is that kind of part of the philosophy as well, to get a lot of kind of different goal scorers contributing, because that kind of game kind of emphasises exactly that to me.
I think if you look at the records, I was an attacking player, and that's what we do. We attack and attack and attack, and we've done that the season before in the championship as well. I think we scored 50, 60 more than anybody else as well. And but actually we've got better at defending. We've got some really good defenders, but we've got talent everywhere. We've got people that can score from everywhere. And I know, I think we've got Charlotte's up in the charts, for the goal scoring. But when you look down, we've got 5, 6 or 7 or 8 sitting at 7, 8s, and because I wondered where all the goals were when nobody's on the chart apart from Charlotte. But it's really good that we've got so much range. We're so strong wide. It's the opportunities I've got to put on players is frightening. And that's one thing I said to myself last season. I need a big squad for this league if I'm going to win it. Because injuries, suspensions, and we've been hurt by a few. But that's the only way I know how to play football is attack.
And it's that, obviously, when you're in the standard of this league, Charlotte, clinching the league the way you did against East Fife as well. How good was that just to get the relief and sealing the way you did?
Yeah, it was different for me because I knew we still had 5 games to go, and I think if you told me at the start of the season we'd win the league with 5 games to go, I'd probably bit your hand off. But no, honestly, it was such a relief. I think more than I was obviously over the moon and things like that, but we've still got them 5 games to go, and Craig's made us believe the hope. He wants us to push to the end. He wants us to keep this unbeaten run going. So there was obviously the happiness there, and we'll celebrate when we get the trophy on Sunday. But it's the most overwhelming feeling. You can't even describe it. Last season as well, I think until it actually happens, you don't know how you're going to react. So it's such a proud moment for me, as well as my family looking on and things like that. Being part of a back-to-back promotion, I don't think many people will be able to say that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Craig, we did say when we were kind of doing the kind of start of the season predictions, we did say it's going to take a really good team to potentially run away with this league. The depth of it is really, really good. I mean, you see that obviously there is a 15-point gap between yourselves and Gartcairn, but there's only 9 points between second and sixth. It is a really deep league, and how does that feel to kind of run away with it the way you did?
Well, it's crazy, but I've treated every game like a cup final, because any of the teams we've played against, they can beat us, and you've got to give them all respect, each and every one of them, and I know that if you look at the teams, even the teams that are from the top league that have played our teams in the cups, they've struggled. Because they're good sides, and I'm so glad actually that the SWPL 2 got such a good season. And I know we've run away with it now, but it's been fantastic. And for me, it's probably my best achievement. Winning this league. It's been a hard league, and to come out at the top and be 15 points clear at the moment, is unbelievable. And I know I heard a few people tipping us at the start, and I don't know where the theory was based, but to come through at the end, and because listen, you've got Kilmarnock's been there for years, you've got Boroughmuir's been there for years, St Johnstone been there for years. Credit to Gart Cairn, have done absolutely fantastic, for coming up, and Queen's Park, a good side as well. It's a tough league, and for us to do what we've done, back-to-back championships, the girls deserve so much credit.
In Charlotte, there is a lot of really talented players in that league as well. Like how good is it to be up against them, and who's some of the best you've come up against this season?
Yeah, do you know what? I think, like we had a conversation obviously before Craig came on, and I was saying even the likes of Stirling, for example, who we've played them on various occasions now, and they have got into the rhythm, and there is players in there that can really hurt you. There's players in every team that can hurt you in this league, and that's why you can't take the foot off the gas, because you don't think it, because you look at the points, you look at the table and things, and everyone's saying, oh yeah, they're low, but we can't. Like, we never ever went into any games thinking we can take them easy. We never ever, and Craig's put that into us, sorry. So we've never gone into a game thinking we're better than anybody. We take each game as it comes. And I think there's players all over the league that can really hurt you when you're not on your game, for example. So there's not one specific. There's there's various players in the full league that I would say really have good potential, and I think the whole league does, to be honest with you. And I think that's only going to get stronger in years to come. Yeah,
it certainly is as well. And Craig, the league has got the trophies going to get lifted on Sunday. It's obviously going to be a celebration, but how much of your attention is already focused on next season? Because it is going to be another massive step up. It can, as well, we always talk about the SWPL 2-1. There is a massive jump. Have you kind of got that in your head already, just how much it's going to be for next year?
Yeah, we started weeks ago, when there was a glimmer of hope that we'd go up. I started planning for next season. I know it's from the Championship to SWPL 2. It's a big jump from SWPL 2 to the top, huge, and hopefully, with the planning I'm doing and with the players that hopefully will come in the future, we put a good display on and we're a good part of the league. I don't want to go up there and not do ourselves proud, and that's the worry. I'll tell you that the truth right now is standing there with Rangers and Celtic and Glasgow City and Hearts and Hibs and United and Aberdeen. That's the worry, that they come down and give us a real hard time. But we'll give it everything we've got, and with the support of the club, because we want Montrose to be up there. I think we've got Dundee United, we've got Aberdeen in the North East, and we want to add Montrose to that as a sustainable club at that level. So we're not going up there to try and make numbers up. We're going to try and do our best and play our style of football. But there was going to be massive changes. Even tactically, things will have to change. It's not just a case of attack, because there'll be a lot of defending will need to be done. But listen, that's where you want to be. That's the place to be, and hopefully we'll do ourselves proud.
And Charlotte, is that kind of the thoughts of you as well? Obviously, it's going to be a better level of player. It's going to be a lot better kind of attendance as well. How are you kind of looking forward to next season?
Yeah, I think for a lot of the players, obviously, that are in our team just now, I think that's exactly where they wanted to be, was in that top league. And I think the jump is huge. I've got all my faith in Craig anyway. So he obviously, I think, was it 14 players or something he brought in this season? And I mean, we gelled no problem at all. And we're now 15 points clear with 2 games to go. So I think really there is obviously that huge gap. But I think if really the aim is to stay up in that league. I mean, my dream is to be mid-table. I mean, it's just getting the confidence after that first season once staying up, and then you build upon that. So, I mean, I think we can take it to them. The players, it's just playing with your heart and giving 100% every week. But like Craig's saying, you don't want to be getting beat every single week in, week out. It's not enjoyable for any player or manager. So I do think we can take it to teams, and I'm sure Craig will turn something around and bring in some players that will help us get to that and achieve that goal. So Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And Craig, before we kind of wrap up, just quickly, like there is a big jump and things like that. Like, have you got it in your head that it's going to be a kind of similar number of players you're going to have to bring in, or are you kind of relatively stable way? Because you brought in a lot and they've settled, they've gelled really well. Do you want to do that again, or do you like where you're at in terms of the kind of calmness and how settled the squad is?
I think there'll be a lot of changes. Some forced on me, and some that I'll need to do myself. So I think maybe 14 is a lot. It certainly won't be anywhere near that this time. But what we need to take in is we need to take experience and quality in, because like we've just said, it's a big jump. And me personally, I don't want to just go and make up the numbers. I want to go and entertain people, and I want it to be a longevity thing. I don't want to just go up and come down again, because then really your 2 years of hard work means nothing. So I'm really looking forward to it, but there will certainly be, I would probably say, maybe half of what we changed last season. Hopefully, there's nothing set in stone. Charlotte's asking me to make miracles again. But we'll certainly try. But I certainly want to come on this programme next year having had a successful season again. But just successful will look slightly different.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure having you both. We're going to wrap up by Charlotte. We're going to put you in the spot here, and I know it's never easy. I think a lot of your teammates will be watching here with a worry of who you're going to name and shame, but we are going to play the teammates round. We're going to ask you to name and shame. Are you up for it?
Yeah, go for it.
Craig, you can jump in if you feel Charlotte's wrong or you want to big up our selection, then please do so. But Charlotte, we're going to ask you some questions and you're going to tell us who in the Montrose team is the following. First of all, best trainer.
Best trainer. To be honest, I wouldn't probably name one of them. I would say everybody tries to gives 100% in training. I don't think Craig would let us give any less, to be honest. So I wouldn't name anybody in that. I would say everybody gives 100%.
Okay, if there's not a best, is there a worst?
Oh no, I wouldn't be answering that one.
Definitely a worst. Erin Henderson. If you see her doing strength and conditioning down at the gym, you've never seen anything worse than that, trust me. I won't sit in the fence, pal.
Brilliant. Who's the most skillful?
Stacey McFadden, I would say. I think she's so good with her feet, but she's also quick. So if she was to come up against a defender, I think they would struggle because of her pace as well as their skill.
I see Craig agreeing there.
Stacey's skillful. You've got London as well. Some of the things and tricks that London can do. You've got Ailey Reid. Flo, Bruce is quite skillful as well, but yeah, Stacey's not a bad one.
Who's the funniest person in the changing room?
Megan Burns. Yeah, Megan Burns for sure. You don't know what her next move is, honestly. She's like Bambi on ice. It's a bit scary at times. Yeah. Eyes in the back of your head. Pranks
or jokes? Or...
No, she falls all the time. Just her in general.
She just falls about the changing room.
Who's got the best music taste?
Oh. Well, we've got a playlist. It's like a team playlist, so everybody's put their own music in. So, like the songs that they wanted. So I can't really answer that because we've got a playlist that everybody's music's on. So it's fair
horrendous.
I guess it's good.
It's horrendous.
Our voices are better.
What songs are we talking about, Craig?
Oh, anything for country and western to I don't know. It's horrendous to listen to. And see when they're singing in the back of the bus, Scott, it's the worst thing you've ever heard in your life. I would probably say Neil Daniel, one of the coaches, has got the best taste in music. He's decent. The players, no chance.
Who's the most temperamental?
Oh, Hendo. Yeah, 100%. Refs really aren't her friend.
She sulks 24/7.
Who's the quickest?
Oh, tough one. To be honest, if you've watched some of our games, I think we've probably got the paciest players in the league. It would probably be London or Holly, to be honest with you. Both wingers, both very quick. I wouldn't like to come up against them as a defender anyway.
I think she's been a bit modest there. Charlotte's pretty quick as well.
Are you going to be modest and who's slowest?
Oh, slowest.
There's a group.
there's a group. I mean, everybody always says keepers are the slowest because they obviously don't do as much running.
Well, if I pre-season, I could tell you who's the slowest, but I'll not embarrass them here. They'll know themselves.
Yeah, I'll leave that one out.
Who's the manager's pet?
Oh, Flo, all day. We actually have a joke with Flo at training and at games. She knows.
I thought it'd be Georgia, to be honest.
Well, yeah, maybe Gio too. Maybe last season.
Right, the final question, and this is one, obviously, Craig, I'm very keen to get your thoughts on as well. Charlotte, who do you think is most likely to become a manager?
Oh. Just from experience wise, either Ailey or Strathy. They've both had the experience of coaching before. I mean, I wouldn't want to coach 26 women, that's for sure. So
No. I would say Ailey or Amy Strath. That's probably about bang on. Both of them. Strathy's got really good experience, and Ailey's been through the coaching stuff, etc. So I would probably say Strathy and Ailey. That's a good shout.
Well, I mean, that was really enjoyable. Thank you very much, guys, for both coming on. Congratulations on winning the league, and enjoy the party on Sunday. Craig, first of all, thank you very much, and well done on a terrific job.
Thanks, Scott. Much appreciated. Hopefully, see you next season.
Certainly will.
Smile.
Yeah, hopefully so. And Charlotte, really well done this season, and all the best. Thank you very much.
thank you very much for having us.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you. See you later.
Cheers.
In this